Welcome back to another exciting episode of MiniGrinder Paints Live. I'm your host. You know who. Maybe you do by now. We are 8 episodes in, maybe. Something like that. There I am. And this time without Mr. Glare Hair. Yeah, just move him over that way. I don't need him as much today because today we're going to do some basing. And also, we're going to talk seams and everything else because this guy is not actually fully assembled. So, and we got Paint Monkey Justin with us, and nice fellow who backed my first Kickstarter, and I think my second Kickstarter too, didn't you?
Yes, I backed them both.
Right, yeah. Awesome to have you on also. His name's John. Hopefully it's okay that I give away your first name, John. Did you go by John or Jonathan?
John.
Okay. All right, John. Nice to have you here randomly. So, yeah, we're gonna do this. Why not? You know, I thought it'd be fun to do. I guess it'd be important here to see if anybody's actually paying attention right now. Oh, I don't even have a. We might have to start that all over.
Oh, no. You nailed it the first time. You're going to end up choking the second time around.
There we go. Oh yeah, I guess it was streaming the whole time. Hopefully. At any rate, here we are. We're gonna do this. So we're gonna put this guy together. This is a cool miniature, Bones miniature from Reaper Miniatures. A sponsor of mine, so definitely check out them. I keep on meaning to put a sponsors link in the descriptions. I guess I should probably do that at some point. But and ReaperCon's coming up here too, so of course might as well celebrate and do ourselves a Bahir. Tomato, tomato, right?
You know, whenever you get this thing fully glued up, I'd love to see the scale with a traditional mini, because I'm trying to get
I mean, we can do that.
big
He doesn't have to be glued up necessarily for that. I actually already used this miniature. He was yeah, that's right. I used an unpainted miniature.
Oh my god.
Mr. Painter guy used the unpainted miniature. I already used them. He was a lot of fun. It was a really fun battle. It was I was testing creature creation in my system, on my RPG, and so I created the Bahir, which I did some research on what a Bahir is, but it's actually a Bahir, or it's a Scottish legendary creature, and that's why he shoots lightning out of his mouth, and not his arse. Yeah, so here we go.
He's pretty big, a little medium size there.
Put some extra light on this guy. See how I was saying? So this is the next miniature I'm painting right here. We'll just give him a little spinny. Take a good look at him, huh? You want to take a look at this? Who wants to take a look at him?
I mean, David, I can only become so erect, David, before I need mental attention.
The degenerate. Man, jeez. The degeneracy. So you like that, huh?
Well, without spoiling it too much, we were talking about this on the phone, an hour or two ago, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the question I asked you was where do you even begin to start with the color theory of this guy when you think about the natural parts of his clothes, then the light, and then the special effect lighting, and then combining all that together?
Wouldn't you like to know?
You explained it to me once, and I still don't understand it.
Yeah, this side's nice too. You know what it reminds me of is this guy would be. He's on on the most badass Mexican restaurant's wall. You know what I mean?
I'll have whatever he's having.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. So there's still a lot of work to do on it, obviously. But the cloak and the vest and this range is is mostly done. But anyway, yeah. Let's this guy. There you go. That's how big he is.
It's pretty intimidating.
Pretty decent size, yeah. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
decent sized miniature. The base that I'm going to put him in is one of the 3-inch bases from Reaper. I'm going to take this out.
Right.
We're just going to take this all the way out because there's no sense in arms everywhere. So yeah, let's get right into it though. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Really, I can't
I have
watch
no good reason.
Hey, thanks for everybody who's joining us. I can't see you, but I can if you say something in the chat. I love if you just say hi. That'd be nice. I said it to you guys. Or maybe I did. I don't know. All right. So where do we even start? Well, first off, get this thing out of here. Where do we even start with this thing? So here's what I would do first. You can see I've already actually glued this guy together, and
Yeah.
maybe I didn't want to zoom that out already. Maybe I bring it up here. You can just focus. You can see the seam right
little-
there. Big
Yeah.
old gappy seam,
Yeah.
right? I almost kind of
Yeah.
like after putting him together, I almost kind of want to. I mean, it's glued. I kind of want to rip it apart. There.
Why?
Because after looking at it, is it going to come out? No. Oh, look, it's really glued in there.
Yeah, I think
It
you're
is.
fighting a losing battle here, man.
No, this is enough. That'll be enough. Actually, it'll be plenty enough. So I'm just going to take an X-Acto knife. And what I'm gonna try to do here is actually just take this edge off. Okay.
Right.
And that sounds not intuitive, but whenever I fix the seams, I actually sculpt it back together. I try to match the sculpt, you know?
Sure. Sure.
So this
right.
is just going to give me the room to do that. I've been doing that
Right.
more and more, you know?
Right.
So I'm just trying to take off a little bit of it, so I'll have room to actually sculpt the gap there, because there's no getting around it any which way. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So yeah, I guess it means I'm gonna need some more beer.
Oh.
I mean glue. Glue. I shake every bottle that I pick up, evidently. Just looking for something. There we go. I mean, when your place is a disaster area, you're bound to find something to use.
You know, if I could make a small request here, you know.
Yeah. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
No, and you know, this I think this ties up perfectly well. Whenever we are, you know, I told you I'm currently gluing together the Tarrasque. You know, the
Right.
Reaper
Yeah.
Tarrasque.
I thought, so I got to thinking when you said that you were putting that terrace together, I was like, oh, let's assemble a miniature and throw that up on the stream.
This is perfect because I have to admit I'm not the best when it comes to mindfulness overall, but when it comes down to mindfulness with maybe assembling a miniature when you're cleaning it or scrub it, kind of taking off the bad parts, or it maybe in this case hiding seam lines with green stuff or anything like that.
I got some other things I'm gonna show you guys too, not just green stuff. So you gotta keep watching.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm gonna try some new psychological attacks on these people. Just kidding.
You,
just kidding, guys.
You
no, I'm
evil
not.
son of a bitch.
Yes, that's right.
So,
yes. This side.
Yeah. I will admit, I think you are making me become a much more mindful person.
About all things in life, or
well, yeah, but I mean, in miniatures, I just have a horrible horrible reputation of just rushing. Just go, 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 go. And it's not because I don't enjoy it. It's just
Because
because
you have
like
so many to paint.
so many to paint.
Yeah.
If you're army building, if you are rushing for your table game, um, or if you're just excited and you just can't slow yourself down because you just are so
Right.
feeling the vibe. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
I
feel like
know.
assembling the miniature is something I've never was very good at. Mindfulness either. Just like slap together paint, glue and go.
It's not, you bought it, you didn't buy it to put it together, you bought it to paint it. So you just totally overlook this. But the thing is like, those, I mean, it's gotta be real, right? It's gotta be.
Right, right.
So like,
And I
the
mean,
seam lines just screws with my immersion, man. So
it does, yeah.
I, I, I address it, immediately. And there's a couple things that I've learned over the years. There's one thing in particular that I like to do.
Well, and you run into all sorts of problems. Like right now, you're trying to match up these fins on the body and make them
Yeah,
all
make them one fin.
whole.
That's not because it's
Yeah,
flimsy
right,
right there. It's
right, yeah,
totally
yeah.
flimsy.
And then
So
sometimes you run. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Sometimes you run the parts that just won't fit together. Like
You
as hard
you
as
got to carve them up.
using
You
I'll
know,
carve them up.
you got
Yeah,
to carve them up. That's right.
right.
That's right. And to some extent, I've actually already done that in some of these pieces. And honestly, it's kind of to be expected a little bit. I think this model was like, I want to say maybe like $10 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just really slow right now. Whoa, what happened? My network just got super bogged down or something. I'm using like a Wi-Fi webcam
Seems like
here.
it's going okay for me right now.
Okay, okay. Maybe it's just all me. Maybe it's just my video card. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just glue all this stuff together. There's this theory. People talk about, oh, you assemble a miniature, do you paint the pieces, put it together? Man, I gotta tell you, every single time I will put it together, the you know at least some of it, because I want to do, when you're fixing seam lines and stuff like that, and especially when you're sculpting. I mean, the miniature has to be whole as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just
Yeah.
using if here's my glue of choice. I don't care if I'm plugging Gorilla Glue. Maybe they'll give me a sponsorship for the 3 people that watch.
I I've actually avoided Gorilla Glue because I know it expands. And I felt like when
No,
I've
no, no.
used it, actually was
That's the
sorry.
original Gorilla Glue,
Okay, okay,
right? Which, honestly, in some situations you might actually want because a lot of the some of them have like huge hollow insides. You know.
yeah, like the Tarrasque.
You're right, yeah. So I think inside of, when that happens, I stuff those things full of all kinds of stuff,
Jeez.
like treasures, man. There's treasures in there.
Yeah.
No, it's usually just trash. It's like it's basically trash.
Are you
You know?
serious?
Yeah, because I don't throw anything away really. So if I have some like leftover putty that goes hard or something like that, yeah, I
Right,
totally will just throw that in there as filler. I mean, it's filler.
right,
Just trying to fill
right,
it up. One time I just crumpled up some like newspaper or something like that.
right.
Threw that in there. It's just filler. Yeah, then I put the putty over it basically.
It's just kid stuff, Bob.
Yeah.
For
It
anyone
won't
who would
take
know that reference.
it won't take long. Yeah, see, that's already sealed there. I mean, it seals. I mean, it glues so fast. But that's what I'm talking about. This stuff is any kind of super glue in general. But and I definitely prefer the gel more so. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Not gonna lie. Now, one thing I will do is I'm not gonna put this on this quite yet, because
What?
I can do the green scenes on this without that being on there, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So so why not? So I'm just gonna put this tail on now. My little paint poker. Uh-oh. We're gonna need some more down there. We're gonna need more down there. There we
A
go.
little bit of
Hobby night tonight, buddies!
tonight. Oh my god.
I mean, it's
Um,
a necessary part of the game, man. You know, you got to do this
Oh yeah.
stuff. Otherwise, you know,
Let me ask you this question: do you feel like there's any part of the mini process that you just find a little tedious, or you're just like, oh, I don't want to do this
yeah,
part. Let me get on to the painting, or
for sure. Like all of it.
you find it all to be tedious?
That's what I love about it. It's like when I was the first job I ever wanted was possibly the most tedious job in the world, and that was to lay in the dirt and dig for bones. That's what I wanted to do. I watched those.
Archaeology
Yes, it's
or
precisely.
paleontology?
Precisely. I watched videos of those people laying in the dirt and dusting away sand and stuff around fossils and just being completely mesmerized by that task. Like somebody's
Yeah.
job is to just find bones in the ground. I want to do that. And I don't care if I have to. And like the meticulousness of like chipping away the little, oh yeah. That's like,
I tell you,
it's
I tell
gravy
you,
for the brain. For my brain anyways. It's like, I mean, that's kind of what I like about miniature paintings. They're so like meticulous.
I tell you, man. You know, you and I are kindred spirits, except for the fact that if I was in the archaeological dig, and I've always wanted to be an archaeologist, I would be just a maniac. Like I'd be a meth-filled like guy with a backhoe. Like, let's get these back.
Here we got our green stuff. Got some green stuff here. I'm gonna go ahead and mix them up. Now, you know, some people are like, "Oh, what do you use for your seams?" You know, first off, when you go out there searching, if you're watching this video for educational reasons, there's the best advice I could ever give you. Everybody's got their own thing. The best thing to do is learn all of them because they're all kind of nuanced in their own way, and you're going to find that some of them work best in certain situations and other of them work best in other situations. But if
Right.
you watch them all, then you'll know. So what I'm saying is, don't take what I'm giving you as like this is the way it's gotta be because I'm the mini grinder, and not that anybody listens to me anyways.
I get what you're saying, man. You know,
But you know what I mean? Like just don't take that stuff as dogma. Don't take that dogma that people push on you.
yeah,
Painting dogma.
yeah,
Learn from it. Obviously, they got something to teach you. But
right, right.
you know what I mean?
Yep,
So you don't
yep.
need very much here because this. I mean, this is. I'm gonna have leftover for sure. For show. Let's see who said hi.
Faux show.
No one. Let's try that again.
What?
Whoever says hi first gets this back right here at next year's ReaperCon. Whoa!
What? What?
Voodoo Head
Oh
said
boy.
hi. Yay! So next year at ReaperCon, if you get this bag, maybe if you're there, you'll get that bag.
God. Oh man. Have you pulled the trigger on
But you're
those
gonna
new
have to
Reaper?
remind me because I won't remember at all. Also, stipulation.
Have you pulled the trigger on any of those new Reaper Con exclusives yet?
No, I haven't. I can't pull the trigger on anything. I'm poor. Pull the trigger.
To say, we could pull the trigger on life, but let's not go there.
I'm pretty sure some of that stuff's gonna find its way to me at some point in time. Um, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, I'll have to pull it up real quick because I sometimes I'm just like staring at it and pretending like I could afford it.
I like to. So when I do this stuff, I like to twist it so it all gets twisted together like that, and then smoosh it together like that. Just pancake it like there.
Oh,
Yeah.
ah,
What?
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 This is a nice stream. I like this stream. Nice, relaxing stream. Okay, so dealing with these scenes, the big ones are the only ones where you're gonna need the green stuff. And honestly, the green stuff is only really gonna come into play, you know, on these deep scenes like this guy right here. I mean, there's just no saving that one anyway, so I might as well just.
Right, right.
So you don't need very much. So see, there's this little dot of stuff on my thumb here. I'm just gonna snake that out. Find my. There you go. This guy's kind of necessary a little bit. This is my sponge, my multi-function sponge.
Multifunction sponge, yeah.
The multifunction sponge, yeah, for sure. Oh, sure.
I feel like you've converted me to sponge life, you know?
The sponge life, man. Sponge.
Yeah. I will admit
That's
though,
a great shirt. That's a great shirt. Instead of Thug Life, Sponge Life, and we have the money grinder symbol. That'll be. I'll have to make that shirt.
Sponge life, yeah. God. They'll probably think you're thinking about that form of birth control or whatever.
Something. So I'm just gonna use some water on this little rubber tip thing here to
Right.
to apply some pressure. And the main reason is because I don't want it to stick to it, basically. And so water will keep that from sticking. Let me push that down there. That excess, I mean, it might as well be used. So a lot of people, they would just kind of squish it in and maybe stop there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I am
That's not true.
certifiable.
Yeah.
You know, let's zoom in on this a little bit whilst I work upon it. When I'm making this face, I am working the camera.
And
That's my camera working face. See, we got it. There we go. Fantastic. How's that voice? So yeah, I'm just putting some water on this thing so I can push it around. You can see it's going in some of the other cracks. It's okay. This stuff, it takes a while for it to set, really. And
Yeah.
honestly, I probably should have worked on some other spaces first, because what happens more often than not, so for the spin area, I'm trying to brush it in there to try to just cover up the groove. So I take this
right.
excess, you know what I mean? Try to make like
Yeah.
a smooth, transition there. As smooth
Yeah. Yeah.
as smooth as I can.
Absolutely.
But so oftentimes what happens is like you're doing that and you're sculpting little pieces and stuff like that, and you get it perfect, and then you go and work elsewhere, and then you come back and here screwed it
Wait,
up.
what?
You screwed up your sculpt. Because I'm gonna have to go in here and sculpt these. Maybe I am. Definitely am. Right now it just looks like this guy got cut in half and then put back together. I mean, it'd be great. Maybe I could sculpt some stitches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Frankenbethair.
Well,
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Scottish, right?
yeah.
Beithh or something. It's like a
Well,
Bethair.
I'm gonna enlist the use of Google Translate. So how do you spell it again?
You're gonna have to enlist the use of Google for that. I couldn't.
Okay.
I think it's Beitthi. I think is the proper spelling. Now
See what
the D&D spelling is Beihir.
wait. So what's the Scottish one?
Beithir. I think.
Okay. So
I
let's see. Let's see how Google has to say it.
It'd be really cool if I actually had my other sculpting tools here. Maybe this will work.
Right? How do you say it? Bither.
By fear, but
It says Bither.
yeah, but that's wrong because Google doesn't know. Like any kind of computer recognizing machine that recognizes language is going to understand Scottish.
What are you saying about the stats?
I used to play. I used to play a online game at some point in time. And there was a Scottish guy that was in my guild or whatever, and he could barely understand this guy. I mean, especially when he got excited. There's just no way. There's absolutely no way. Yeah. I mean, there's just one area. There's one area in. Oh, I just found. Oh, nice. I was wondering where that. I just found a shield that I was been missing.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. Wow, I can do that now. Uh, what's talking about?
You're talking about the Scottish guy who you probably never understood the word he was trying to say.
Yeah, so there's like one area in Scotland where like even other Scottish people can't understand them. Well, he was from that area.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna have to use this guy for some. I mean, you can use anything to sculpt with, right?
You have to use your feminine wiles to sculpt this thing.
It's my poker. A paint poker. Look, I put eyes in it. I got one of the original designs that had a this thing would come off of it relatively easy, and so I put some epoxy putty on it. You can see right here. Right, squished it in there, and it made eyes, and I was like, "That's awesome!" I can't believe I haven't painted them yet.
Oh god.
I'm just cleaning off that glue off of there. Watch me clean glue off of my tools on this live stream. There's not enough of this on there to kind of sculpt any of that.
Really?
Yeah, it's just you need something to sculpt. You know? Right now, it's just filling the scenes. Pick that up there. No. So anytime this thing wants to stick to the tool, whatever tool you happen to be using, just put some water. So I'm just using a sponge just to apply some water to the tip so it doesn't stick.
Yeah.
And my glasses are coming off. You having fun, John? You still with us? You disappear? You're like, screw this guy. He's gone. Hello? Maybe he's in a raid. He's possibly in a raid. He said he was
Raiding.
He's raiding. He might be in a raid.
Very possible.
Very possible. So right now I'm just trying to apply green stuff. Trying to thicken that up a little bit. I'll take the excess and just fill these other grooves with it.
Did you ask me something?
Having fun, buddy?
Yeah, I guess.
What else you gonna do though, right? I mean, just another day of our lives.
Oh yeah.
So I can't wait to give it another go with the Bethir. Bethir. I'm
Would
just
you
gonna.
like to?
I guess
Would you
that's
like
more.
to kind of? I'm
I guess.
sorry.
I guess that's more of a Irish. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it is more Irish.
Would you
Bethir.
like to?
What?
Would you like to enlighten us a little bit about like so when you ran the Bethir,
Oh,
right, in the game, how did you how
what
did you
happened?
construct them? What happened? How did you construct them in your system?
Well, you can piece the thing together, uh, creatures together, the same way you can build characters. They have their own sort of skill trees, and
Right.
so the Pathir, um, in my system, I saw him as clearly he's of the drakes. He's part of the drakes tree, right? Because he's a dragon. He breathes
Sure.
lightning, right? He's got a
Right.
big tail, so that was one of the creature triads used. The other creature triad used was aberration, because
Yeah.
aberrations where you get multiple arms and stuff like that. And so
Right.
by piecing that together, I was able to create, the Bathir, that and some, different skills and whatnot,
Okay.
but combat skills. But it was an excellent fight. It was it was a epic level, heroic level fight too. So
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
so there was like it was 350 skill point characters going up against them, and they ended up taking them out. The wife was playing the dwarven brawler, and
Okay.
at that stage got like a lot of extra advantages for being drunk. So she was totally lit. She had wrestled the character was lit. Uh,
Oh,
she was actually wrestling the tail. She was like hanging onto the tail and keeping that from doing like area of effect sweep attacks on them, right?
damn.
So like she
Damn.
just able and she was just hung on and was like hacking on it. So she was hanging on and hacking on the tail with her axe, basically.
Right.
And then the other ones were just basically trying to add extra damage and stay alive. Stay out of the range of the lightning breath.
Right.
Yeah, this is going to be absolutely difficult matching this. This is going to be so difficult.
Why do you say that though?
Well, okay, so I'm going to clean this off because the details are so small, and I don't have the sculpt. I mean, the person who sculpted this, especially if it was like old school style, you know, they got a lot more know-how than I have for sure. They
How
also
do
have a
you
lot.
wait?
And they also have a
How
lot
would
more.
you say?
They have a lot more tools too, because I don't get paid to make to make green stuff sculpts for Reaper. That's why they did.
Uh, oh well. Oh, okay. I mean, I guess I
But
get what you're saying.
I'm just taking off this excess here. So I have to sort of think about how they did it also. Whenever I'm trying to match, you know,
Sure.
I have to think about how they did it, and whatever they did, what tools they used, you
Right.
know. But I'm just trying to like get this seam to run smooth. Um, so looking at, I mean, it's hard to see these bumps here. So there's like the bottom layer of scales. It's so slow on my screen. The bottom layer of scales are thick, while the top layer of scales are like thin, right?
Sure.
And so those thin. I mean, there's no way that I can sculpt those things with this thing, right? So that
Why not?
I mean, I could. It's not going to look great though. So what I'm currently thinking about doing is taking just a little piece and just adding them on instead. I don't know if you can see that. There's like a little nugget on there. There's a little nugget on my thumb too. Just
It's a
little.
lot of stuff that I would not have really thought about.
Yeah, I think it'd be easier just to sort of drop some little nuggies on there than it would be to try to sculpt it.
Right.
Maybe that's how they did it. I don't know.
In terms of, you mean in terms of repairing the scales, right?
Yeah,
Because you're trying not to have this huge just break in the scale line.
right. So then I'm just putting those little nuggies on there. Those bogeys. Putting those bogeys on
Little
there.
bogeys. Yeah.
Little bogeys. And then it's easier to sculpt the bogey than it would be to try to sculpt that out of one piece. Right?
Why is that?
I guess I can get. You see how I'm already kind of like. Just because it's already realized. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just easier. There, I need to get some more. Some smaller ones too. So I'm just taking some of this excess. And this the smallest little piece. And then I can adjust the placement with it still might be pretty. These are definitely might be too big. Do a better job of covering up than what was already on there.
Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good so far.
Not bad.
Not too bad, Mr.
These
Frodo.
ones we might be able to like do something with here. See, it started pulling up there. Get some water on that. It's hard to see, isn't it? Maybe I ought to get this thing in here. Would this help at all? It like doesn't help. It doesn't help at all.
I feel like I'm seeing it pretty well though.
Okay. Well, I can try to zoom it in even more because I'm actually now doing some
Yeah.
zoomy zoom.
Zoom.
Oh God.
What?
No, I just. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. Whatever. La dee da. Dee da dee da.
I might not have catched it or I kind of missed it. Which version of grease are you using, like the liquid pot from like Citadel or what?
Uh, it's not from Citadel.
I know that's not you. I know you're not. I guess because the
They
grease
don't
I
get.
use.
I don't think. Just so you understand, everybody understands. Sorry if this offends any of you. And go ahead and. I mean, if you're really super offended, I don't. There's nothing. There's probably pretty much nothing I'd be able to say to you anyway. I don't give them any of my money. Not for their primer. Not for their paint. Not for their nothing.
But if MiniGrinder, if you
Nothing.
don't support them, they're gonna go out of business. They're like guaranteed to go out of business without your money.
No. Whatever. That I'm sure it's a. I'm sure. I can't do it. So.
No,
Sorry, everybody. Sorry. I have rules
When
that I live by. That's one of them. I can't give them my money.
when sorry, what I'm trying to say
So
is,
I think Oh shoot! I don't know. I got this green stuff possibly randomly off the internet. I would suspect. Actually,
Okay, but it's the liquid kind because I have the kind
it's
where
not liquid.
you
It's
do the
it's
whole.
two. They're two sticks. It's a stick of blue and a stick of neon green. That's too big.
But yeah, and that's what I have too. But how is yours so fluid? Mine feels like gum. Like it's like I'm.
It is. It
Yeah,
feels like gum, but the different. I mean, okay, so
yours looks
the
so much more fluid though. Like it's
maybe it's
going
because
up. It's
it picked up a little
sculpted.
bit extra moisture. This stuff flows a little bit easier. You can mix a little bit of water in with it and get it kind of like a paste.
Sure.
You know.
Right.
So just making small little tiny balls, picking them up with the tip of this thing.
All little tiny balls.
Little tiny balls. That actually could be even half that size, probably.
Good.
Maybe I can just squeeze over here somewhere. He's gonna come down. This one. Take this little guy. It kind of looks like junk right now, but maybe we'll make it look better later.
You're pretty good. I mean,
Considering,
I've never seen you do like any green stuff sculpting, so this is kind of interesting for sure.
sure, I just try to do more of it because why not,
Right. Oh, I get you.
I mean, it's a handy skill. Like, if you can cover these seams so they're not noticeable,
Right.
hopefully I'll do that. This is incredibly difficult, so I've never done anything like this before.
Right.
But, I mean, you gotta push yourself. Every time I do
Yeah.
it, I go a little bit further. Last time I did it on my dragon that I gotta finish up for my one client. The forest dragon. That's gonna happen soon.
Yeah. Which
You want to see
dragon?
another one that's gonna happen real soon too?
Oh yes.
You're not gonna believe it when you see it. Okay, not safe for work, everybody. Just throwing this out there. This is not
Oh
safe for
god.
work for the next, I don't know, minute or so. This is
Oh god.
Nikita Lebedev. Bust. I guess it is safe still.
Thanks for the point.
let me zoom out here. So I've had my eye on doing this one for a while. There we go.
Who made that?
Nikita. There it is. Is that gonna be awesome?
Yeah, it's gonna be really awesome.
Really, really awesome. I can't wait. It's a fantastic sculpt. You can actually see like
That is
little
very cool. Though.
the pores on it and everything.
Really?
It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's definitely gonna happen at some point because I just need to do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right. It's like in my bones. So once I get some more characters finished, then I'm probably gonna attack it.
Yeah.
You know.
I
So
get you.
yeah. Get back in on
That's looking sweet though, man. For real.
it. It's thank you. Very kind at this point. So one thing I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna take a brush like this, get it moist,
Wait.
moist, and I'm just gonna brush right over this. And right now, kind of like I'm gonna I'm gonna try to pick up some excess here from this other stuff. but also I kind of want to like smush these a little bit, but very gently, you know?
Yeah.
That brush. Cancel this thing. I mean, you got to be careful here, though. See, so something that I kind of did now that I'm looking at it closer, you know, is you don't want to create. Okay, so this isn't much better. What's on here isn't much better than just like a giant scar, filled in scar. Okay, because it's just a
Wow.
line. It's a line. It's just a line, right?
Okay.
So it's still obvious to me. For me, it's still obvious. Anyways, you know, but it's still
Yeah.
obvious that there's, and some of that, it's hard at this stage. It's hard because you know, I mean, it's hard to know what this is going to look like after it's primed, and
Right.
especially since because it'd be different if green stuff was white and you saw it all at the same tonal value, you know. But you don't see it
Right.
like that. You see it, you know, starkly contrasted like it is right now.
Right.
So it's it's difficult. It's difficult
So
to get this right.
what's kind of the solution there? I say,
Um,
dare I ask?
pay attention. Be scrutinize
Yeah.
your scrutinize it. I mean, you just got to be in. You just got to be into it. You got to be into. You got to be into wanting to sculpt it so it fits. Like I have this passion to. I mean, these were together at one point in time. This was
Right.
seamless, you know.
Right.
So you know, for me, it's about paying homage to that, you know, a little bit,
Just kind of making it whole again.
making it whole again. Right? Yeah, precisely. So one thing that you can do here is you can really kind of like break this up a bit. So I'm going to take this extra bead right here. I'm going to push him back, actually.
Right.
Okay. It's okay if there's a gap right there. That's okay. I can actually add another little scale on the other side too if I really wanted. I could take this off and beat him up and do it proper.
Do it proper. Oh my God. Now you're just being insane, though.
What?
Now you're just insane.
I'm not that insane. Well, I don't know, Justin. You studied psychology.
Yeah. Yeah. You're insane. I'm calling it right now.
Right.
I'll quit right now. Sorry to say.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So
So
let's see.
what I'm going to do here is basically, so see, even this guy is just too big. That's too big. The thing is huge, right? This little speck of green
Right.
stuff is huge. So I'm going to basically cut that in half, right? Now I'll see if that'll fit in this piece. I haven't done too much work, and it's already getting kind of close, at least. Yep, got away from
It's
me.
a pretty sexy sauce.
So I'm just trying to add some extra scales, not just along the line, but also. That's too bad. That's way too bad. That's okay. I mean, it's going to be very forgiving for you. I'm just trying to get that a little smushy.
Well, there's the rubber paint tip.
Yep, yep. Just pushing it back a little bit. And I'm using this guy to kind of like shape it,
Sure. Right.
you know. This guy's not in yet. Push him down. Push him down.
For some reason, this whole process seems really intimidating
Does it?
because, well, because I think you kind of said it best. Like, hey, I didn't sculpt this. I don't work for Reaper.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
This
I don't have the
is
skill. I mean, if somebody held a gun to my head and said, "Sculpt this," yeah. I mean, I'd try my best. If there's a
right,
time limit on it, I'm gonna die.
right, yeah. Now I've seen your work in ZBrush. I know how you sculpt. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
can.
you're still good.
Uh,
Uh,
my natural sculpting abilities are relatively good. My ZBrush abilities, on the other hand, not so much. But once I learn that thing, you guys all better watch out.
dude, I saw your ZBrushing abilities with that dwarven guy.
He's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I like him. That's this guy. Oh, yeah, he was sculpted in ZBrush. You
That
know,
guy is all the sex.
right? So yeah, I mean, but that's just like a half naked. I mean, it's just a naked dwarf guy. You know. Get down here
But
so
I
you guys can
mean,
see me. I'm hanging out.
you can't say that. That's unfair. I mean, that's just like saying that elf you showed us a couple minutes ago was just a half naked female elf. I
It's
mean, don't get me wrong. Wait, what?
it's actually called. It's a fawn. It's a
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, don't get me wrong. I'm more in the fawns than brawny dwarfs, but still, I mean, that's still incredible work what you did on that guy.
Ah, thank you. I I want to do more of that. I totally did. I really was energized to do a whole lot more of that. And then when I released that sculpt, it was kind of like had lackluster fanfare going on, and I was like, wow, yet again, I give you guys gold, and you just nobody went out with a whimper. I mean, it's not that nobody cared. It's I don't know. Maybe I didn't push it enough. I don't know.
I mean, all things in due time is how I see it.
Yeah, it just takes time, and it's kind of like I bounce around a little bit here and there. But I actually
Right,
did that sculpt. I had started that sculpt when I was first learning ZBrush just to see, just to see if I could do something. And so I basically
right,
made myself like a little, that was my practice. It was one of my first sculpts in the ZBrush,
right,
and then I did hex tiles. I did all the other terrain stuff. So I started learning the program a little bit better. And so uh, Adepticon 2020 came around, and I didn't have a nice thing to take. Everybody was showing off these cool sponsored things that they had to take, and I don't go out there searching for sponsorships or anything like that necessarily.
sure,
I'm, but if they ask me, that's a whole nother story.
right, right.
But so I didn't have anything super special to take to give to my students like everybody else did. I got a little jelly, and I was like, you know what? Sponsor. I'm the mini grinder. So yeah, I got it in me. I was like, I just finished that sculpt and resin print a whole bunch of busts to take in to work on.
Yeah,
And so,
absolutely.
right? Well, I mean, why not?
Yeah,
So, and
I
that's
was
something
at
that's like as unique as you can freaking get, really.
right. I think it's a good study piece too. Your workout
For
flesh
flesh,
tones, your
yeah, that was my idea. Yeah, we were gonna do
right,
well. We weren't gonna do flesh tones. was going to be a bonus. But we were going to do OSL with flesh tones, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Actually, it was a
You
study of
know,
light and shadows, but yeah.
so, another thing you could do is, you go back in there and maybe sculpt some armor. Next thing you know, you're teaching a class on non-metal metal.
Well, I wouldn't sculpt armor on that guy. I would sculpt armor on a completely different one, and that was kind of like my idea. I was going to do a whole bunch of different busts
Yes.
to work on different. But you know, I thought more people would care, and I did get some. You know, people were like, "Whoa," had
Right.
that kind of effect. So that was nice. But then that was it. I thought it would train. I didn't sell one single STL of it.
Well,
Not one.
again,
I
all things.
maybe I sold one. Maybe one. I don't know.
Wow.
So I was just like, well, I'm gonna do something else. You
I
know,
think
I was
once
hoping
we
to
get
sell enough to like pay for the busts, basically. But that just never happened.
sure. I think that we get past COVID, the world gets a little bit back on track. I was talking with the owners of my favorite game store a couple minutes away from my house,
Yeah.
and they do a paint night. And that guy is also really big into resin home printing. And
Yeah.
he was talking about the idea of just like, printing out, these minis really, for free, basically, handing them out to people and then teaching how to paint
How to
those
paint? Yeah.
minis.
Right. Yeah.
And I
For
mean,
sure.
like, that's so much more economical and cost efficient because you're not having to crack open a case of Space Marines or,
Right.
whatever. The store's not losing profits. You do the same thing. You kind of, custom make your own line of Academy mini grinder miniatures, and you just
Sure.
kind of print
Yeah.
them out. Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, in game, I would like. Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about this before. I mean, I have the ability to do it. I know I could. Now I couldn't do it as fast and as efficiently as other people, but I have the sculpt ability to do all that stuff. I got the eye for it. It's built into me somehow. It's just
time and
God
money.
given or something. But I would love to do that. But and for me, actually, what I'd really like to do is do a bunch. I would like to do a bust for each race represented in my fantasy campaign guide, and then paint them up, and then use those painted busts for the artwork in the actual book. That's what I really like.
Number one, I think that's a fantastic idea. Number two, um, I'm convinced that almost anything we do in life, especially in the pursuit of something artistic, is not a waste of time. A, it's practice. B, it adds to your catalog or your repertoire. And
Yeah,
C, in this particular case, if you make 500 different busts just because, um, you'll never lose that investment or that catalog. It will be there, and then
forever.
there will be
Yeah,
you will draw upon that catalog when you go back to teaching. And
yeah,
so, I mean, yeah. So maybe it's not an immediate investment that pays off right off the get go and makes you a millionaire, but it's an investment that you just pull from when you need to pull from it.
sure. Yeah, that's there's some wisdom in that for sure. And I
It's
shouldn't.
also hard to swallow, but
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And at that point in time, that was before the wife switched her job, and I was a little bit more concerned about finances at that point in time. So I just couldn't see pursuing it at that point in time.
yeah.
But now that she's much better sugar mama, she
Oh, oh man.
she listen. Let me tell you, just the other day, she had forgot. First off, the night before, I stayed up way after my bedtime. I stumbled up the stairs. Uh, stumbled up the stairs. I like fell asleep in my chair down here in the studio. Stumbled up the stairs, and then I was like, "Oh crap! It's Sunday night. On Mondays, I have to pack a lunch for the wife to take to work. So
Oh,
as part of my wifely duties, right? And
right, yeah.
so, like 12:30 at night, I put together a meat sauce with homegrown tomatoes from my garden
Right.
and noodles. It's something simple, but I knew she'd love it. And then there's bread and butter in there, and I even had like a little baggie of Parmesan cheese that she could. Because it's different when you put the Parmesan cheese on, like, and then stir it. It's different when you can just sprinkle it on yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then I climb into bed and I tell her, "Don't forget your lunch." Because I just stayed up an extra 45 minutes or 30 minutes to cook you it, even though I was basically sleeping. I said, "Don't forget your lunch." And the next morning, she forgot her lunch, obviously. So, uh, so I run it up there to her, and she didn't. We didn't. Wasn't near a phone or whatever. Um, so I walked it in, and the front desk ladies and stuff, they were like, "Oh, what's this? A lunchbox, huh? Oh, what's she getting?" And so they were swooning over the fact. She was like, "My husband wouldn't do that." So I'm a good husband.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know
But
what the point of that all was, but
I think I've known you long enough, man, that you're not the person who idly screws away time. Like, yeah, I mean, we all relax, we all do
I
things.
kind of do though, a little bit in a sense,
No,
because
I mean,
it's all for naught if it doesn't come to fruition.
no, I guess number one, you're having fun.
I am having fun. I just wish I was having fun with a dishwasher in my house.
Right. Um,
And a little bit
but
more room in the kitchen, if you know what I mean. Like that. Now that's fun. That's fun. Having a real brick oven, that's fun. Wood fire brick oven. I would like to afford those kinds of things, that kind of lifestyle at some point in time. I don't know if I'm ever
yeah,
going to do that with miniatures.
well,
We'll see.
I guess the point I'm thinking about more or less is that there are so many different things in our society now that really pull us away from the truest and most natural forms of our existence.
Whoa.
Thinking our I know I'm getting kind of heavy now, but there's a reason why uh, you know
Just so you're aware,
me
you know I'm fully down with heavy, right?
yeah you are, but I mean there's so much in our world right now that's competing for our attention when it comes to streaming online videos or um or just
Oh
anything that just takes away from our,
shit,
our
yeah, I'm
natural
competing with Netflix and chill, you know what I mean? The
right
Mandalorian
yeah
comes on, it's over.
hey let's do mini grinder and chill.
Yeah,
Maybe we need
I'm
to
actually
put
yeah,
on
mini
some
grinder and chill. So here's a situation where I'm fooling around on this side right here, right? I
yeah,
could totally be messing up everything that I did over here.
just because you're pounding it into your mat.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good angle here. If we look on it this way, it's not bad.
No, yeah, I think it's pretty good.
It's not bad. Hopefully it'll look fine. Let me rub my finger over a little bit. It's still obviously thicker right there. I just kind of want it to
The lake flush.
lay flush. And sometimes you might have to extend beyond, sculpt a little bit more into it just to get it to go. You know? I don't
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. But I guess the only thing I'm trying to say is that there's so many different things in life that take us away from just the most natural forms of the most basic stuff in life: art, philosophy, thinking, food,
Hmm,
whatever.
food.
And it's so much of it's digital. And I feel like that if as long as you spend some of your life in these more transcendental activities. Step away from the screen, step away from your social media feed, and you're participating in something artistic or thoughtful or mindful. That it is a
Mindful.
good way. It is a good use of time. It's a good use of. It's just a good use of time.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, anytime you're doing that stuff, I guess it's a win. It's a
Yeah.
win. That's why I always say, every now and then and on the social media I break out, I'm like, you jerks all need hobbies.
Yeah.
They do. Like if
Let's
this
see.
is your hobby, I would go. If this was my hobby, I would go crazy. It was my hobby for a second. I was politically motivated at one point in time in my life. All it did was just ruin my soul.
That's a. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. It's definitely a struggle.
Yeah, I just try now. It's just kind of like, well, my views are never going to really be represented. So I'm just going to focus on making my life and my children's life better.
I'm right there with you, man.
With miniatures.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's a little better. That's a little better.
That
Anyways, it's mostly important to get it kind of close, and then hopefully it blends kind of nice. After the fact, we can go in and kind of shave it off a little bit with the X-Acto knife, get it nice and sharp edges where you need them and stuff. You got to be super
give
duper
us
careful, and you can even shave it down like that also. But at least you have something to work with now.
you give us a bit of a side angle because I'm always yeah. I just want to see how it flushes to the body if that's not possible.
It's
I think that's looking pretty good, man.
pretty good, yeah. It's pretty good.
I think you paint over this thing and you'll. I mean,
Where it's going to come out though is the upper part because it's just that stuff is so subtle, and I'm most likely that's where I'm going to have to shave it down more.
yeah, the scales seem to kind of get more like smaller, more numerous, more clustered
Way
up in that
smaller,
part.
yeah. So I'm going to just
Towards
take
the
off.
bottom.
I'm pulling off some excess actually right now from those top two.
That's a good. I think that's a good call.
Just pulling off some of that excess. Trying to go around the best way possible. Just get a little bit of extra off. Now smush them back down in there. Hopefully that'll do. Use that wet brush
That
to
will do.
kind of
That will do.
push them down in there. Kind of muddle it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. He's looking pretty good, man.
Yeah, a little bit there. Just kind of turn that 1 to 2 just now. There we go. That's a little better. Muddy it up. When I'm pushing, I'm actually applying a little bit of force here too. There's some newtons going on. You know, some
Yeah.
full blown newtons in this up in this bit here.
Full blown Newtons, man.
So, I mean, on this other side of this thing, it's honestly not bad. There's not much of a gap there, to be quite honest. So what I'm gonna do is just take this, and this stuff is still workable, but I'm actually taking a little piece and like, I get this water, baby. Drink up, drink up. Just getting some water on it. I'm trying to get it moving. Although, again, I want it to kind of be a little pasty a little bit, but it's not working. It's easier to do with the gray epoxy putties, like epoxy sculpt.
I tell you what,
This stuff doesn't drink the water as much.
you've inspired me. I want to go. I'm gonna go grab my Terrask from the other room because I want to start looking at these lines too.
Yeah, I did it! I did it! I got one guy.
I'll be right back. I'll BRB.
BRB. Oh God, I'm by myself. Wait, John's here. Hey, John. How's it going?
Good. So what kind of brush are you using to push that in there with?
This is what I'm freaking talking about, guys. Just totally ruined this slide. I'm just using. I'm just using a one of my dry brushes. It's a synthetic dry brush. Cheap. Oh, cheap. Basically.
Oh, not that one, but the other one.
The rubber one.
Yeah, I was trying to guess what that tip was.
Oh yeah, it's like a rubber. It's like a rubber tip. I picked it up at like like a Hobby Lobby or Michaels or Joann Fabric store. Any of your kind of local hobby stores should have something like that. Yeah, I totally just screwed up all of this over here. I literally warned you all, and I did it. I did it, guys. I literally warned you, and I still did it. I would have did it anyways, even if I wasn't on a stream. Every time. That's what when I do those like display level large pieces and stuff. I mean, the person who's buying those from me, or if it was me even, I would do the same thing. Not because I'm buying it, but because it's mine and I can do it. I spend a lot of time going in and doing this stuff because he's gonna give me, what it's worth.
Right.
What that time is worth. He's gonna do that. And so, as far as I'm concerned, now he probably would have did that regardless of the fact. But you know what? I sure as hell am not gonna give him subpar, especially when it's if I were to paint this guy up, for instance, I might charge. I don't want to say. I might charge an awful lot. First off, because I don't want to give him up because I want to kill some PCs with him first. But yeah, how could you charge an awful lot if you have big giant gaps and stuff?
Yeah.
You can't. It's not. It's not. You can't do that. As far as I'm concerned, most of this green stuff is going to go to waste. So, like, what I'll do with my extra green stuff is I'll take or any of my putty in general. Anytime I'm going to have extra, I'll just take out a base and fill it from the bottom because that's what I do with my bases anyways. We'll do an actual proper basing at some point in time for characters.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Because I mean, we're going to kind of do it this time. Maybe if I have I guess I've been on here for already an hour and I haven't done much.
I think this has been very informative. I feel like every wargamer, DM, painter, whatever, has their own personal definition of what table ready means. And what you basically just kind of said there was like you're always pushing yourself, especially if someone's a paying customer, to make sure they get what they want out of it. But really, even if you're not doing it for a paid customer, I think you always want to push yourself to push that definition of table ready. This time around, I'm going to do better highlights. This time around, I'm going to really work on those bold lines and the green stuff. I'm covering the glue lines and stuff.
Right.
Just always push that definition of what table ready is.
Sure. Yeah. for sure, for sure, yeah. But I mean, I like painting display level models that can be used in a game. You know, I
Yeah.
people are like, why would you do that? That's insane. Because all my display level pieces are all magnetized to a display base, and you can remove them and play with them. Because
Yeah.
honestly, what's the point otherwise? I do this for the game personally. I know a lot of
Right.
people do it. They're into it for a number of other reasons, but me personally, I don't do this for any other reason other than to advance. You know what I mean? To for the game. I mean, I told you I already used this guy unpainted once. Growing up, I mean, that's what we either if we had miniatures, they were usually unpainted, just because it took forever to paint all of them. Sometimes you had some painted, but
Right.
you know. So let's get into some other stuff here. So this green stuff, I mean, I might do some more green stuff later. Actually, let me fill in this little space right here under the tail, at least. You just stuff it down in there. With that hair can go with it too. Hair. Like I said, I'm always stuffing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Now, are you the type of person who will use metal rods or toothpicks to pin things together if you have a
I
hard time?
used to, but you know what I found out? I hate pin vices.
Yeah, I
I
do
hate
too.
them.
I own
There's
one.
not, yeah, there's not one that's good as far as I'm concerned. They're all cheap shit.
They break like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, they do every single time. Every time. Yeah, so no, actually whenever I base a miniature with that, especially if it's metal, right? Plastic's not so hard, it's gonna stick no matter it sticks. You can glue those things in real easy, it sticks. But whenever I do a model, let me see if I can find one. Uh I can't find any. Whenever I do a metal miniature, I would clip off, especially if it's slotted, I just clip off the slot or the tab, so it's just two spikes under the feet. And there's your that it's already there, right? Um, hello.
Yes, I'm watching. Sorry,
Oh, the stream died
I'm
again.
like
Um,
I was.
so yeah,
I was being.
I'll just clip those off. But if it has like an integrated base, now recently I've been trying to integrate the base into the base, integrate the integrated base into the overall character base. Um, right. So,
Yes.
but if I don't do that, what I'll do is I'll clip all of that excess base off, that integrated base off, and
Yeah.
then I'll uh, I'll clip around the feet, and then under the feet is a big chunky area, right? And what I'll do is I'll using the clippers, I'll clip that in a way, but so it doesn't clip off entirely, and then shape that into two little pokey things that because it's so malleable.
Oh,
The metal is so malleable.
right. Yeah.
So
I actually
I just use the clippers to do it.
I do something. I guess I did something similar where I would just clip, and then when I got to the large chunks underneath the feet, I would just be very careful to surgically remove them to the best of my ability. I never thought about saying, well, just minimize your risk and just make them pokey things.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Minimize the risk, make them pokey, and then they go into the putty a lot easier. That's another thing is when you're pushing them down in there, you don't want the putty to sort of spill out, you know, and like you want it to be nice and flush. So you need to have something that's not going to displace too much of the putty when you push it into it. You know.
I'll also even say that I finally have over the course of 4 hours finally got all the pieces of my terrace glued together. The exception of putting it on the base, and now I'm at this point where I'm like, I wouldn't mind doing like a cool custom base for him, but also the base he came with is actually pretty neat.
Mm. Oh yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
so it's like I don't know. I mean, I guess you could do a blend of using the existing base and then kind of do some cool stuff around it to integrate it into a more custom scene, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, there's a video on my channel here where I'm showing off my version of it, and it was kind of like a Godzilla meets Tarrasque. The Conjira model from Reaper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The thing is huge. But there's like a showcase video or some sort that I did.
Right.
Um, it's one of my first attempts at OSL, so it's digging back there. But it's okay. It's fine. It looks cool. I'd like to do it again with my understanding now. You know, but
Yeah. You know,
I
so
like. I
apparently,
also like the idea of the Tarrasque being kind of you know Gojira.
right?
So
Yeah,
there's some extra. I mean, there's like a lip here, right? So I'm just gonna shade that right down. Basically, I'm shaving down the fin, that extra lip in the fin. I'm actually shaving that
right.
off the model. And you're gone. You are gonzies. Same thing right here. And I'm using the crevice where the fin is to direct the blade, basically.
Right.
So trying to come at it from both sides. Some tweezers. Go. Let's just try to create a more smooth transition there. Okay, I got little drops of green stuff all over. They're slowly. I got some on my arm. They're taking over. Done. Jacked up brush that my son uses. There's one that was wet. Where'd it go? Here it is. I probably should be using the jacked up one that my son uses, actually,
Why do you say that?
so I don't ruin the good one.
Oh, jeez.
I have like a whole bunch of those. Those are the brushes that I use for my paint classes, my local paint classes that I'm doing so much of right now.
Well,
Whatever.
has the meeple? I know the meeple's reopened,
I
but have
know.
they?
I haven't reopened.
No. I guess I was trying to wonder if they have even begun to do stuff like that at all.
What's that?
Have they even has the meeple broached the topic of getting that stuff back on board, or are they caught?
Not yet. They're probably waiting for me to call them or something like that. So,
Sure, right,
and I put it out there for a whole bunch of people. And actually, I have another place, Underhills, also. They asked if I wanted to come back because they're opened up and everything, and I said, I'm not ready yet.
right.
You guys can have that for now.
I
I just
getcha.
don't.
I'm catching what you're putting down.
That's right. I ain't trying to get it. Pass it along. I ain't trying to pass it along. God, that's actually what I feel worse about. If I pass it along and somebody dies,
Saying that.
I don't know. They got all kinds of theories and everything about everybody got their theories about what's going on, right? I personally don't have any theories about what's going on, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
your
yeah,
theory.
no, because the thing is everybody's theory is probably wrong, or at least partially right, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right,
The truth is, for
right.
me, is I actually don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to try to act like I know what's going on, just so I can have like feel like I'm a part of a conversation or greater conversation or something. But I'm not going to
Right.
make stuff up just because, you know, just not gonna happen. That, and I don't like being wrong. I have this problem about being wrong, so I try not to say anything.
I mean, I get it though.
But the truth of the matter for me is, I'm gonna just do everything I can to not be a, contribute. You know what I mean?
Right.
Regardless, it's kind of
Well,
like there's
yeah.
people that are like, well, I believe in God. Might as well because it doesn't hurt not to. And then they,
Right.
well, that's it's the kind of the same argument, right? I'll still
Well,
get into heaven. I said well, surely you gotta live your life
you could
in a
create a
good
very
in a good
interesting.
light. Also, surely that's got to factor in too.
You could you could always use a very the type one, type two statistical error for that type of logical reasoning too. That's
Yeah.
where it gets pretty hard. Would you rather commit a type one or type two statistical error in that regard? Both of them are equally logically awful.
Yeah. So this other side here, actually is relatively smooth. Uh, it breaks away a little bit right here, so I'm actually going to try to chunk that out a little bit. Probably should have did this beforehand. Spear, we're going to spade it. Let me get that on camera. I don't ever use this tool. I'm just trying to dig into the plastic to kind of get that to blend a little bit better. So I am going to put a little bit of green stuff right in the bottom there.
Right.
Right in that little crevice. But not along the seam, because the seam is like super flush almost. It's hard to tell, but it actually is. You can see it plain as day here, but it's quite flush. So I'm going to show you my little trick. It's not my little trick. I saw somebody else do it. I can't remember who because it was forever ago. But it's a good trick. Kind of feel like this is, probably enough. I'm just going to take that down there, shove it in there. Get in there. Get in there. Just shave off that piece. I'm just trying to smooth that whole transition under there.
Right.
All the way out under here. A lot of extra care is
Great.
put into these things.
Well, no, I mean it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like you have to constantly be pushing yourself to change the definition table already.
Hmm.
The amount of mindfulness and the amount of attention to detail here. It's a labor of love.
Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure, man.
I'm looking at my Tarrasque here, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at all the different limbs and armor plates that glued on, and fortunately, I mean, unless I have low standards, which is possible, a lot of the lines that I have to cover up with green goo are mostly on his skin, and so there's like not like that detailing like
Well,
you have.
you might want to hold off on your plans to green goo it up because there's some stuff. So some areas like here that doesn't need very much. It just needs something. You know. I got that something for you.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'm not going to green glue it right now, but
Green glue it.
yeah. And so in some ways, it's like even if I had to green glue it, the amount of sculpting I might have to do, like you're doing right now, it's going to be fairly minimal because it's just skin. You know, I
Right.
might do
Yeah.
some texturizing with the dimples and just to give it some texture, but I'm not having to do armor plates or anything.
Yeah.
So it makes me so much more happier.
Okay. All right. So it's relatively good there. So this idea, this thing that I do, maybe I'll do it. Here we go. Here we go. Let's take this back. Oh, we can see it right here. Glue,
Oh, there you
right?
go.
Right? Because it'll fill in very fine seams.
Yeah.
Very fine seams, basically. It fills them in just fine. This thing's at the wrong. There we go. Bum 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 bum. Let me zoom out. There we go. Might as well zoom out a little bit then. Might as well zoom in. Maybe zoom out a little bit. There we go. All right. So get my trusty thingamajigger here. Oh great. Okay. I don't need that much. Oh goodness. And there's like, uh-oh. I feel like my shirt's gotta might come into play here.
What?
I think it's bedtime and the boy, no, it's past, well, it's well past bedtime. He really likes to have daddy tuck him in every night.
Oh, yeah.
Daddy tucks him in almost every single night. Daddy also wakes him up and makes some eggs and bacon.
Damn. What do I sign up for that service?
All right, yeah, right. I'm just gonna take some on the end of this right here. And just gonna run it up along that seam. And what that's gonna do is that's kind of gonna fill in a little bit. It's gonna muddy other stuff around it, but it doesn't really matter. It's on the inside. You know, it's on the inside of the tail there in an inconspicuous spot.
Do
So,
you feel like it is it too runny, or do you think it holds pretty well? Like I'd be afraid it'd be like running down the model if I was holding it upright.
oh
You know?
no, I mean it's Elmer's. I mean it's viscous. You know, it's viscous.
Yeah.
I mean I'm not putting a ton on there necessarily. You know, I kind of am in along the groove that I want to fill because it's all going to shrink. You know,
Right.
it's definitely going to shrink. But yeah, just straight up white glue, man. It does a pretty good job actually of filling a lot of grooves. Um, it's possible it could even fill this one. Now this one, these grooves don't actually have to match up. I don't have to do I don't have to do any sculpting here really.
Yeah.
But those
And
grooves
that
have
makes
to
perfect.
go. Those grooves have to go away. Now,
That's
honestly, this might be a little too thick for. I'm gonna be careful here. This might be a little. I'm gonna screw that up again. Maybe I did. Um, so these grooves right here might be a little bit too thick for it. Just a smidge thick for that little technique. But along here under the chin, that's a good candidate. Definitely good candidate, especially being on the underside. Now it might take, depending on how thick the groove is, it might take a couple applications, right?
Right.
But whatever. I mean, that went a lot smoother than me getting out the green stuff and yada yada.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
a lot of these ones along the belly, it almost would be better off with the white glue, most likely. So I'm just running it into the grooves the best I can. You can see it's already sort of worked, but once it dries, it'll shrink, and then you won't see its benefit anymore. So, like I said,
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a couple applications, you know. And whenever you think that it's going to take a lot to fill, you can put in some extra.
Right.
And it'll shrink kind of right to the surface, so it only muddies up the details slightly,
Right.
you know. That was green stuff right there, but there was like a little extra dip, and I just wanted to soften that a little bit, so I put some there too. Have you ever used the white glue for fine seams?
No,
Oh my
I never
god,
even
it's
really.
like it's like freaking liberating. Oh my god, so easy.
I tell you, man. If you ever mysteriously die like an assassination attempt or something,
Who, me?
I know it's gonna be a cabal of the leaders of Games Workshop, Vallejo, Army King, or whatever. Like, this fucker coming up with low budget ways to put us out of fucking business.
Cheers.
Exactly. If his ideas take shape, we can't charge $20 for a pot of green glue.
Yeah, so sometimes, man, if you can shave the miniature together, shave the pieces to get together so they fit super snug, white glue's your best buddy then, for sure. And sometimes that's my goal. It's just let's get these things to fit snug and flush, because it's just a little bit of white glue, like that groove right there, that right there. Not that one. That one might be a little too thick. That one's perfect. You can see it right there, a little bit.
It's really like the difference between like a hairline crack versus something that's a little bit more visible.
Right, right. And those hairline
Yeah,
cracks, they are still visible for sure. Like absolutely, they are. When
I'm
you paint
definitely
them.
seeing some good candidates. I'm seeing some good candidates for white glue on my Tarask model here.
So you're already looking, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
I mean, look how
yeah.
fast.
I mean,
I mean, I'm going through the rest of the model, just like lickety split here with this. I will say this: I also use good old epoxy sculpt right there. That's good stuff too. The work time is shorter than the green stuff, barely,
right.
but
Can you believe this fucker doesn't use a wet palette that he has to spend $50 on? He uses a sponge.
sponge. I don't fill. Yeah, I fill seams with white glue.
Like, look, right. He uses his fingers to paint the minis too.
Listen, I know there's a bunch of cheap bastards just like me out there that they're watching all these other streams and they're being like, "Why is there some backwater guy who's gonna show me how to paint using the bare minimum?" That's me, because I'm cheap and poor, just like you. Maybe they're not poor. Actually, there's plenty of people that aren't poor that are still cheap.
Engine was it necessity is the mother of invention.
Ah, right, yeah. Sure. For sure. So, just gonna fill this last little gap here. Cut it in half. Cut it in half. Okay. Get in there. Get in the hole. I don't care what you smell.
It puts the lotion on its skin, or it gets the hole again.
Hello, Clarice.
It's cool to see you again.
Do you dream about your dead daddy? About eating pork chops?
I bet he has started screaming. I freaking love that movie, man.
Get in there! The green stuff is starting to get not be as pliable.
Yeah.
It's starting to set a little bit, so it's taking a little bit more wrestling. Here, it doesn't matter so much, you know. I mean, there's not going to be much sculpting here. All I'm doing is I'm just filling a gap. That's all I'm doing.
I am morbidly curious to know how liquid green stuff works as opposed to this, Mission Impossible, red piece, blue piece gum type of stuff, I always feel like whenever I put my green stuff together, I'm like that scene from Mission Impossible where he's like slamming the gum.
Dun, dun,
You know what I'm
dun,
talking
dun, 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 dun,
about?
dun. Doo.
Red light, green light.
Yeah. So I'm just using the pin to kind of like take off the excess now, because this gap is filled. I guess I could have used the other one for it, but I already have the green stuff out, so why not, Okay, okay. Now, let's get back. Where's that? We're going to get out some of that Gorilla Glue again. I'm just going to apply it directly to his little stump right here. Whoa, whoa, overdid it. And that's why you never do that, folks. Never, ever, ever do that.
Never do what?
Oh, apply it directly to it, but I'm just being super lazy at this point in time.
That's exactly how I did my Tarrasque. How I was supposed to do it.
Now I'm looking for something to wipe it off. Wipe off the excess. Because I don't want to use my finger, because who likes putting super glue on their fingers? There's some asshole out there who's like, maybe they get off on it or something, but not this asshole.
I think that's a first step in. Wait, would that help you or hurt you if you want to commit murder? Would that obscure your fingerprints, or would that like leave a print, like a cast of your fingerprints behind if it shed it off?
I don't know. I'm just one second. I'm constantly applying pressure here, so I can like try to minimize the gap, basically. So hopefully I can get away with like you know, a white glue fix here. So what was your question again?
Would you, if you were to apply super glue to the tips of your fingers, would it obscure your fingerprint, or if it shed it off, would it leave a negative form cast of your fingerprint?
I think it definitely leaves like a little negative thing.
Oh.
For sure. This thing is really cool. I like how he's coiled up. He's coolly coiled. I don't know how that green stuff got on there. Oh, I know why. Because it's all over the place. Okay, here's the excess. And I'm just going to take this because I don't waste anything. At some point in time, a miniature will go in here. It'll happen. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm even more meticulous and crazy. Like I said, I'm certifiable. Just around the corner, around the edge, because the most likely the feet will be in the middle, and I want it to be able to stick all the way down. Oh yeah? Oh, hey, my phone's gonna die. 15 minutes or 15%. Nice. There we go. So I'm just gonna stick that in there and blip, put him back in the bases box. And cord it up. There we go. I'm out of beer. Uh-oh.
You're running into one crisis after the next year. Phone's dying, out of beer. These are not proper working conditions.
Right, yes. Yes. Let's do this all the way out, because now it's basin time. Basin. What you doing, baiting? Go away. Good old idiocracy, man. Can't wait for that to come back out in the Netflix or something like that so I can show the boy. He's 13. He'll get a kick out of it. That's proper age to view it, right?
Oh yeah. Well, how old is he?
He's got to learn who Comanche is.
Yeah, what Plains craves.
No, Comanche, the president.
I know. I know. I'm just
Mountain Dew was one of his names. So I was thinking with this guy is he's got this like dirt texture around his base, right?
Yeah.
And so oftentimes what I do with my bases is I'll take the miniature, right? Like and then I put the putty in the base kind of situation inside the base. I fill it. And then that's where I print it on the top, and then the quote unquote top of the base is now the bottom. And it's super smooth and soft and it's nice. And it's weighted because it's full of putty. So it's bottom heavy. Which means that jerk that comes to your game who likes to play with your miniatures, your expertly painted miniatures, he won't be able to knock them over as easy.
Yeah.
That jerk. The jerk. Let's see here. Anybody watching? Woohoo! You're awesome, whoever you are. Yeah. Thank you for caring. Hey, they can't all be gems, guys. So I'm using the epoxy sculpt now for the base. It's good to have a nice array of glues and epoxies and other cancer-causing agents in your studio. You know what I mean? I mean, tonight, just in this process, I've used green stuff, white glue, and epoxy. I'm using epoxy sculpt now. So, you know.
In your
you were going to say something?
Hey, I got a side note for you because you're talking about supplies. You know, what's the we think the typical shelf life of a standard dropper bottle paint is?
Well, plus 6 years or so. 6 years or so, because some of these 5 or 6 years at least. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
because some of these are really, really, really old. Some of them are very, very old, and they still work just fine. You know, it helps when they don't have stupid paint pot tops.
Right? Yeah, Games Workshop.
Which, yeah, of course you're gonna want that on your tops when you're selling your paints for ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah, like I can't tell you back in the day how many times I was struggling to open that thing and then I'd use all my little kid strength, and suddenly that entire pile of paint was across the walls, the floors.
This is efficiently mixed. This is another two-part. So if you don't know, epoxy sculpt is another two-part epoxy putty that you have to mix together two components so the chemical reaction can begin. And that chemical reaction takes about an hour or so before it is done and hard, and to where you just won't be able to work with it anymore. So I like to use this stuff for my basing because it gives me a moderate amount of time to do some work with it, basically. Basically.
Man, there was
Oh, look at this. It's all, there's like a whole bottom area here where it's like it's dimpled a little bit. It don't matter. I don't really care. So I'm going to just take some
yeah,
super glue and I'm going to apply it directly to the model. Woo, so much fun. I'm going to apply it to the areas where I feel like it's going to touch the bottom more. Okay, so like
right.
normally I fill the base, right? And I was getting on that mode. So I fill the base. This time I'm going to put this thing directly to the bottom of the base, okay? Because I kind of want, what I'm thinking about for this base is kind of like a nest, right?
Oh,
Right? Right? So I kind
yes,
of want it to be a little bit, I want him to look like he's kind of sitting down in something more so. That's why I'm
right.
just going to apply him directly to the base. Super glue him directly to the base. And then what I'm going to do is get stuff glued to me. It's frozen.
Hey,
Whatever. So then got this guy right here. I'm just going to start filling in. And this part doesn't matter that much. It really doesn't. Right? But he's got these, see, there's these rocks and stuff around
yeah, yeah,
his integrated base. And I want to basically, my goal is to take that idea and then run with it and integrate it, you know? So I'm
yeah,
going to have
yeah, yeah,
rocky bits on the outside and then the dirt texture on the inside kind of situation,
yeah, absolutely.
you know? So right now, it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter what it matters more that I'm just filling it in kind of situation, you know? I might actually have to
right.
get some more. I'm totally going to have to get some more. I might. Well, yeah, I feel like it's going to happen. It's a 3-inch base, so it's going to take up, some space.
Here's a here's a kind of fun little question for you. Are you a little anal retentive when it comes to the stand shape?
Yeah. Yeah, as is everybody in the hobby industry.
No,
I'm
no,
not as I'm not as anal retentive as, I guess maybe some people. I wouldn't say most, but maybe some people. Some people are, I mean, I've heard some pretty ludicrous rules when it comes to basing.
no. I meant like I don't know. Like it's always driven me nuts when I see someone
Yeah.
playing with miniatures that have a combination of square, circle, and hexagonal bases. You know,
Mm, yeah, right, yeah. Yeah. But I've seen that
right?
where the person was like, they were saying, hey, you have to have hex bases for sci-fi games and round bases for these kinds of games, and square bases for these. I'm going to use round bases for every single one of my miniatures.
Right. Yeah,
That's just
yeah.
how.
No,
That's my hang up. By the way, I'm mixing a
yeah.
little bit extra here.
I def-
That's where I'm at. You know.
I will admit that I am anal to the extent of I only want round bases for everything I do, and I'm also anal to the point of where I only want to use one brand exclusively for my bases, just
Oh.
because it keeps continuity easier.
Continuity. That's right. Order up. Order me up some continuity, please. That still needs to explore. Is that the same? Hopefully. I mean, they look like different. Sometimes I'll pull out some putty, and then I just take what's left and I stick it at the top of the tops. They change colors. Sometimes I'm like, they're the same. I don't know. Let's find out. If I mix these two together, if they get harder in an hour, I'll know. If it'll just work. And then whatever. Okay. Okay. Lift your footy up so I can get this out of there. Right now, it's not about making it look pretty. Right now, it's about getting it in there, basically. Let's get it in there. And actually, talking about getting it in there.
That was my motto in college. That was my motto in college, man. It's not gonna be pretty if I get it in there.
Wow. That was well, homework. Was me and homework in college. Not gonna be pretty, but I'm gonna get it in there. Physics. That was my physics homework. Yeah.
With these, do you have like the positive and negative for these in two separate tubs?
I'm sorry. Yeah, let me see what's inside.
Oh, that's your epoxy or whatever.
Epoxy, yeah, epoxy. And I have no idea. This is evidently I have the A top on the B cup and the B top on the. That part doesn't matter as much, folks. What matters more is that you maybe I don't need that much gray. I'll some of my gray before I mix it in. That's what I'm talking about. I was like way more actually than what's necessary. Way more extra than what's necessary. Yeah, that's like a lot. Nope. I like going in and doing the extra base work and stuff, and like really kind of trying to integrate, you know, something that the sculptor did, and try to, like I said, pay homage to that, and like, maybe it's not what they envisioned. Maybe they didn't envision a nest or whatever, but they'll when I sculpt the rocks to kind of match the rocks that are already on there, then that's like that's kind of neat, you know.
There was a local company to both of us that is out of Ohio, somewhere in Sheffield Lake, Ohio. So not that far away from both of us.
Wow, yeah, we were looking at houses up that way.
But they just launched a new company for game basing, and I saw some of their products in a local store.
Sheffield Lake of all places, huh?
Yeah, I wish I could remember. I feel like I need to say them out loud to give them some business if possible. God, I can't remember what it's called. But they have this really cool new product. I know it's not typically how you like to do business, but I thought it was cool. It's like it's a terrain paste. So on top of all the blocking and the flowers and all this little shrubbery that they have basically a paste that comes in several different colors that is that you can sculpt into. That also acts as a glue, and it can also you can glue the matrix. You can apply.
I've seen some of that stuff also. I've seen that stuff elsewhere also, and one of my other hobby friends, and it wasn't that stuff specifically. So they're not doing anything super, groundbreaking here, but it's definitely something that's missing from the, being better represented in the community, or and its availability. Because a lot of people don't have stuff like that, and that stuff is really awesome.
I will say though that it worked out very, very well. I actually really liked the results I got.
Okay.
I thought it was really neat. God, I wish I could remember what the hell it's called. But and you know, also, I do have a small little penchant for wanting to support local businesses as opposed to
Sure.
Army Painter, Vallejo, Games Workshop, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Yay, local.
Hey.
So these aren't meant to be exact or anything like that at all. But they are meant to kind of like, I'm just blocking in some possible rocks here. Not saying I'm gonna make them into rocks, but who knows? Maybe we got a big rock here in the front.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna
It's
we're gonna
called
we're gonna call him Harold.
huge, huge miniatures. That's what they're called. I'm okay.
Ah, there goes the
Huge.
phone. Saved.
Huge.
Yeah, I like the idea of a nested here.
Too. You know what? Now that you're kind of talking about it, I want to look up the D&D kind of monster lore behind it here. If it has a nest, I'm
You
sure it
should look
does.
up. You should look up the actual legends information. That's really interesting.
I'll do a little bit of combination here. So apparently, the here is a type of blue dragon. I've never.
That's just because it breathes lightning. They're just
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
It's just good. Oh, this is his.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Bahirs prefer to live in warm, hilly terrain. They make dens and caves, which are often inside of high cliffs or hidden thickets. Um, yeah, makes perfect sense.
Well, the mine was used in like the northern region, basically, of the campaign. But the same thing, Scotland's not. I mean, Scotland's the northern region, right? Also, kind of
Yeah,
pretty
I think
north.
so.
Pretty north.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at the Beathir, whatever how you want to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Okay. The word has been defined variously as serpent, lightning, thunderbolt. It
Yes.
also means wild beast or bear.
Right. Yeah.
So
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. The
I think the
actual
first
legend
couple,
is really good stuff. I'm glad you're doing this. Yeah. Let's do more of this.
here it's described as the largest and most deadly kind of serpent, or the dragon. It dwells in mountainous caves and quarries, which I guess are valleys, and is equipped with a venomous sting.
That's right.
Excuse me. If a person is stung by the Beathir, I can't pronounce this, then they must head for
Just
the
say
nearest
Bathir.
body of water. Beathir. They must head for the nearest body of water, such as a river or a loch. If they can reach it before the Beathir, whatever, does, then they are cured. But if the monster reaches it, then the victim is doomed. Another
That's
cure
right.
for the sting is a water in which the head of another snake has been placed. The Beathir is considered one of the Hua, meaning hate in Scottish or Gaelic.
Yeah.
A general term for various monsters and spirits associated with water. It is said that if a normal snake is killed and then the head must be separated a proper distance from its body and destroyed. Otherwise, both parts will come together and the snake will return to life as a Beathir.
That's right.
Okay.
I love those old
Um,
legends like that,
yeah,
man. God, so good.
it's really cool. That's kind of all. The Beathir was said to be sighted on summer nights when lightning strikes occur. So
Right, which is
yeah,
where
that's
the
strange.
lightning breath comes from, right?
Mhm.
So you can imagine
Yeah.
those people like way back when getting like struck by lightning. Or the guy who got
So
struck by lightning when there was no storm or something like that. It was just a cloudy day or something like that. He got struck by lightning. These legends can
Yeah,
just come out of nowhere from that kind of stuff, you know?
right.
Gotta love that stuff. Gotta love it.
You
So
know that.
when I made my and this is kind of the thing when I do all my monsters for my game, I don't look at the D&D book, you know. I'm gonna go look up and see where they got the idea from, you know,
Yeah,
because I want to see what the actual legend is. That's what I'm interested in. And so
you know
when I do
what's
my book and stuff, that's surely what I'm gonna try to tout, and pass on is that information, because
you know
that's I don't know. I find value in
you
it.
know, you know what's crazy is that that we're kind of me. I'm a massive fan of mythology and folklore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
We both are. Yeah.
what's what's crazy is that universally snakes in mythology have had a pretty negative,
Sure.
kind of view. And it's no different here. But you know what? I think it's what's kind of interesting is that there is a couple positive uh, aspects of snakes in terms of mythology and folklore. One of them being, you know, um, the Greeks and the ancient Greeks and Romans with the I suck at saying this word. The caduceus, the medical staff.
Okay.
By the god Hercules. You think of the medical staff, right? The staff with the wings. It's got these two
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
serpents, and
Right.
the idea.
Yeah. That's where that came from. Yeah.
Yeah, it came from the caduceus. I can't pronounce it. Caduceus is a symbol of the rod of Asclepius. Um, but basically, they used the idea of the snake because they knew that the snake possessed an antivenom for their own poison, right? So the snake was both
Ah,
poisonous
that's brilliant.
at the same time. And so it's so in some ways, it's you always see snakes as being this evil, malevolent creature, dragons, or the
Mhm.
world serpent, Normandy or whatever,
Well, depending on the
But
culture, but yeah.
yeah, but I feel like almost, I mean, Judeo-Christian, the snake in the Garden of Eden,
Sure. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Norse mythology, clearly Scottish folklore. So many things have, a very anti-snake.
Yeah.
Um, but then, you have other things like that kind of make it a little bit more positive too. It's very interesting.
I just have this idea.
Uh,
Maybe he sets like ooh, maybe this Bathir as part of his like mating practice or like nesting. He like
yeah.
maybe he stacks up some.
Oh,
You know.
what would happen?
I don't know. It's just something that it's like an animal. It's just like something that they do. Maybe it's like part of the mating ritual. Having
That'd be
stacks of
kind of
rocks
cool.
is part of the nesting.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Well, I don't know about
Um,
perfect, but it's
no,
it's little things like that. I don't know if anybody's going to pick up on that when they see it, especially if they see it and they don't didn't watch the video, which is going to be at least 3 or 4 people out there in the community.
right,
Um, but like it's little stuff like that where it just sort of just it just adds character and story. When I do basing and stuff, I like to think about the environment, the ecology. You know what I mean?
yeah,
The
yeah,
of the creature. Where are they at? What's what are they? Why are they there?
right,
You
right.
know. So I like to bring all that stuff in when I'm doing my basing.
Um, yeah, I agree completely. Um, when I was doing my little band of orcs, and we've talked about how, you know, um, you get different sculpts, different kobolds, goblins, orcs, just means that they could be different cultural variations or races or
Hmm.
different things. know, the current orcs I'm working on, like I always saw them as being more of desert faring thing. So when I was basing them, I definitely used dry shrubbery and sand colors and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I
just
love.
trying to think about the whole space that they're in, but at the same time, this whole space is not necessarily the visual space also. It's the story space.
Right.
What's what is the deal there, Well, this thing,
Yeah.
if this is its nest, then maybe there's something about gathering these rocks up around, the
I'd be
outside.
half. I tell you, man, I'd be half tempted if I were you to, while you're at this, just roll up an egg and kind of toss it there right in the middle
Right in the
and
middle,
just turn
yeah,
around.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, why not?
absolutely. Yeah.
Depends if you want it to be male or female. If it's good.
Doesn't really matter.
What
Maybe it's male and it's
what?
looking for a mate. So it's got these I've watched a
Yeah.
lot of nature programs.
Then the here starts the ancient ritual, stacking the rocks to attract the mates.
Yeah. Good thing you're here, dude. That's perfect. That was perfect. That was absolutely wonderful.
I actually love how, especially since now you're telling the story about him creating like a mating den or a mating home. He's going through his ritual. You're stacking these rocks in a very purposeful way. Like it goes from big to small.
Yeah.
And it creates that symmetry that you wouldn't see in nature necessarily, but you're doing it with a purpose that demonstrates personality or intelligence of the mini and the
Right.
culture and that monster lore and that extra
See,
step
it's
you're
a good
going
thing you're
through.
here because I just thought people would pick up on that. But like, it's really good to hear it actually formulated into words. That's what you're here for. You're like my human interface
Uh, I'm just a pain
for
monkey.
all the humaning. Because I'm not a good human. Human.
Uh, I'll tell you what, though, I can definitely see some golden blonde on those goddamn rocks right there, though.
Yeah, I can't wait to put some golden blonde up in this here.
Step one for mini grinder acolytes: sponge. Step two, golden blonde.
Necessary. You're gonna follow
Necessary.
me. You're gonna want to try to paint like me. You need the golden blonde. You need the midnight blue.
Oh no, man! I'm a bit of a rebel. I like to use nightshade purple, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I like that one too. I'm a fan.
Midnight blue, nightshade purple. And I forget what my go-to green is.
Oh, for like
I've been
shadow
changing my
for
green.
shadows,
Yeah, I've been changing my green shadows a lot.
pine green's a good one.
I've used
Forest
pine
green's fun
green.
too.
Yeah, I've done that one too. Um, swamp green is surprisingly dark. It's like a black green.
Whoa, I need to pick that up then.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah,
don't have that
cool.
one. I'm just using a flat edge of this thing to make these rocks. They're starting to look more and more and more rocky. Now, when the epoxy putty dries, I'll go in with an X-Acto knife and clean all those up so that their edges are
Yeah,
sharper. You know, they don't look as
yeah,
bulbous or whatever because it's hard to get some nice sharp edges with this putty. I feel like, anyways.
right, right.
Um,
The more. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so yeah, just going back in with an X-Acto knife or something to um, create some sharpness is definitely You can try to do it by going back and forth from edge to edge, from side to side, to try to create it, but it's still not as sharp as I'd like it. So I do that after it sets. So you'll never get to see that.
You
Here's
know,
another good
the
rock.
more I look at this, the more I look at this base, you know, I know you're set on the nest idea, but I
That's
can
what I love
also
about this
see,
the sculpt is that the snake-like appearance of his face. You know,
yes, yeah,
and it's the thing is supposed. It's like there's so much about snakes in the legend of it. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I
But
interrupted you there. What were you gonna say?
no, you're right. I mean, if you go back to the legend, which is what I was about to say was, these rocks easily could fit into just a cave scene, you know, not necessarily a nest,
Oh
or
yeah,
it could
yeah,
even fit, or it could fit into a stone beach scenario, like because it's obviously a water creature too. So you know, I know you like the nest idea too, but the way you did the rocks, it could be a cave, could be a stony beach. I mean, there's a lot of great ways you can tie in the lore and what you thought the base here.
sure, sure. I'm having a blast stacking these rocks up around here randomly.
Yeah.
Having a good time.
Well, a little bit of Minecraft action going on right now.
What's that? Minecraft.
Yeah, stacking rocks.
Oh yeah, push that back down in there. Maybe that's part of the match that. Try to match that texture there, right there.
A really great infographic the other day about that explained kind of the different dragonoid classes. You know, like remove one set of limbs, it's this. Add a set of limbs, wings, it's this. And it's like this big circle. You know.
Yeah,
And I remember kind of seeing the Bahir, not really knowing what it was, but kind of knowing what
of
the
it.
dealio.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah,
a really cool. It's got a really cool legend.
yeah. So let's see. See, get ready to pull this up.
So it's been a couple days since it's been a little while since I actually live streamed. Um, I my phone died, and I used my phone to do the streams, to do the camera work, basically. So like it died, basically.
Kind of shut you down there for a little bit, huh?
And I had to get it replaced. So now we're using a new phone. I didn't do any streaming. I did have the house phone or whatever. I guess I could have done it. But when things go out of whack in your life, you just kind of like, it throws everything else out.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. I do. I feel like now, unfortunately, when when we lose a phone or it breaks, it's almost as inconveniencing as when your car doesn't turn on. You know,
It's crazy,
it's
yeah.
kind of reached. It has reached that level of shittiness.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, it's a good point of shittiness. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I never felt compelled to be on my phone, though. You know what I mean?
Like all the time.
Yeah, I've just
I
I
I
you know me.
I crave validation. So like when Facebook was on my phone and I would post something or whatever, then I'd like have to like follow up on it and see what people are or whatever. So I just got rid of that. I didn't need that in my life anymore. I don't need
Yeah,
validation in my life anymore. At some point in time, you people aren't going to be able to ignore me anymore. I feel oftentimes that I would just fly under the radar. You know what I mean? Like, who the hell is this guy? Where did he come from? But holy crap!
Oh God, that's funny.
And before you came along, I basically just thought I was, that I was just maybe I was just wrong or like, because I when I do stuff, I'm like. I blow my own self away. I'm just blown away. It amazes me what comes out of my body. These things. It just amazes me. So, uh, but at the same time, I thought, well, shoot, like maybe just nobody. Maybe I just like it.
Yeah,
It's a
but
good thing you came along.
I know that to you or to anyone who listens to me talk to you that I might come across as having given you a lot of just endless string of compliments. But I feel like in other conversations we had, especially regarding other things, I've played a lot of devil's advocate with you, and I do give you genuine feedback and criticism. To the point of though that like I don't feel like that often the vision of what I see in my head, especially we're talking about gaming, DMing, painting, et cetera, that we're really that different. I mean, you
Right.
have incredible competency and skill when it comes to painting. I don't have. But when we just talk about DMing or just this hobby in general, I feel like
Hmm.
um, if I could criticize you, I would, but really, I feel like, um, we see it, we see a lot of things in the same light, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of resonance.
Sure. We're just about done here. Believe it or not. Would you
I
believe
think,
that we did all this in a couple hours? Amazing. My hands are all kind
again,
of greasy from this. I can't wait to get it off my hands. Honestly,
it's just another exercise in teaching me to be patient and mindful, because
you would have never spent
that's
2 hours on
struggle
doing
with.
a base like this.
No,
I mean, it's 2 hours, and this I'm gonna have this guy for the rest of my life here until somebody pays me an absurd amount of money to take him off my hands.
and
That's where I'm
you
at.
know what, and it looks like you spent a great deal of time and energy and attention working on it.
Oh, wait a second.
Um,
I guess we forgot a little bit here. Gotta make a little egg.
oh yeah, yeah. How do you roll the perfect freaking like oval? Like I was like that's
It's
crazy.
not a perfect oval because it's shallow on one side and longer on the other. I guess here I'll just slowly. I'm just slowly rolling this, picking stuff up along the way a little bit.
Would it be easier to?
It's already done practically. What do you mean?
Well, I was going to say, would it be easier to actually exclude that and paint it and then drop it in after the fact?
Maybe, yeah.
Because it seems like it'd be a pain in the ass to have to paint in the middle of all that, you
You
know?
think it's too big?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
That's about
it's a
right.
little baby dragon.
Right, yeah. Okay, well, you think it's too big?
Sure, I want to kind of. It's a baby dragon, man. You know,
Okay, yeah, yeah, I'm down.
I want
I'm
to know
downsies.
what's a behir egg look like.
Oh God, I guess I could do all kinds of fun textures and stuff on it. But
You
no,
could. I guess
I am going to shave a little bit off of this. It's going to happen. Here's my
I
perfect egg.
guess
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Oh man. Oh dude, some of these pictures of Bahir eggs look really freaking incredible. And
Okay, well,
I
don't
shouldn't
show
show
them
them
to
to
me,
you
because then I'm
because
just gonna abandon ship and not do this.
yeah, right. But yes. I'm just gonna I'll give you one word and that means it's a non-metal metal would be
Oh
what you're
wow,
looking
cool.
for. It also says they have a clutch of 3 to 6 eggs. But that's up to you. I mean, maybe
Three
this is
to
just a single mom.
six.
Yeah, man, this is just maybe it's just a single mom. Just trying to tough it out in this world. You know what I mean? She's got a job out at the Kmart and the Piggly Wiggly.
Maybe it's just the one. Yeah, maybe it's just the one. But
Yeah, I
honestly,
mean,
maybe the stones are set up because it's part of the nesting process, right? So like maybe there's no eggs yet.
or maybe each egg has its own little stone circle.
Not a bad egg.
Okay. According to this, solitary creatures, meaning others of their kind, that mate and hatch a clutch of 1 to 4 eggs. So 1 to 4.
Yeah, I don't know if how like it's sitting in there because there's a lot of other stuff going on.
For the record, and if a here hatched is about 2 feet long. That makes
Okay,
sense in terms of how big your
like
egg would
so
be.
I think I got the egg right. I just don't. I don't know. We'd have to go down in here, but I would want. Okay, so here's an idea. This is crazy though. This is a crazy idea. Maybe I'll do this after the fact, and maybe not on stream. His foot right here, this leg right here, you can barely see it
Yeah.
is clasped.
Oh no.
Let me
Oh no.
let me lip. I gotta lubricate up the lips. It's clasped onto a
Gotcha.
rock right here, which could make for a nice egg.
Oh, you're just gonna paint that rock into an egg.
No, I would turn the rock into an egg.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. But there's no room for any other eggs anywhere else. Maybe up in here? I know it looks like it would look cool, but I would have to fill the whole thing with eggs, and I'm not prepared to do that, honestly. But I like the idea of this being an egg, but at the same time, I like the idea of it being the stone, because that's kind of like the whole reason why I put the stones on there. We're not gonna do egg. I'm gonna call it. We're not doing egg.
Sounds good to me.
You didn't really have a choice, Paint Monkey.
Yeah. I'm
Uh,
just gonna go ahead and zip up my gift mask, I guess, then. Close up this little mouth hole.
Hey, we got some compliments, man. Somebody, I don't know if they're. I was surprised. I put it out there. I put the links out there, and people are like, "Hey, I watched this. And it's actually quite informative." And yada yada yada.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
where's my thing at? Hey, anybody who's still watching? Thank you for watching. We're gonna be wrapping up pretty soon here. Just wanted to say thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Wow. Look at all this extra stuff that I have here.
The video seems frozen. The audio seems okay.
Now, which video?
The, the video. Or I guess both videos.
It might be on your end,
Okay.
It's
possibly.
frozen here too.
Oh goodness, people. Oh, I think I might know why. What? There's it better.
Nope.
How about now?
Nope.
How about now? I think it's just you guys though. Because it's still, well, maybe it just died. I don't know. I don't know. It's
Go back and look at the replay.
I don't know what's going on because everything's still moving on my end. So
I believe it.
maybe it's I gotta think that it's like. Here, let me see about this.
Uh-oh.
I know. Calm down there, kiddo. Grab a screen. Grab a screen. Grab a screen. Any screen. Go live. There we go. How about that?
Looking good.
Okay, there we go. So what the hell do I do with this stuff, huh? I don't have any miniatures prepped. I usually always have miniatures prepped for this.
Say, double down, do another Bahir.
I think not. Oh, hey, check this guy out. Meow,
Oh, God. All right. I know what you're doing for the next 2 hours of your life.
meow. He fit relatively well in this 2-inch space. This thing is giant. We're just gonna throw this down real quick. If it fills up entirely, that's not enough. Okay, so good. So this base, I'll use. At least it's full. Like I said, I don't waste anything.
But won't that eventually harden and then you're kind of screwed?
No, not at all. Absolutely not, because I want this to be the bottom. So now the
Right.
thing's full, and actually he might be up on a, maybe he's up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So there'll be rocks under him kind of situation. So there's a lot
Yeah.
more that I can still add there.
Oh, actually, I see. You got plenty of room at the base.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely.
I didn't really. I thought it came up to the top.
Tons of room. Tons and tons and tons of room. All right. Here we are. Check this guy out. Let's go ahead and put him on, put the old auto focus on, maybe? Nope. I'm not going to do anything. Whatever. Alright. So, here we are. At some point in time, maybe I'll paint them. Who knows? Obviously, I'm going to still have to go in here and fill this thing in the top, that groove in the top. I don't want to touch them anymore because I don't want to ruin the work I already did with the green stuff. So, and with all of this other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just basically let them sit there and set. And then once it's set, then I'll go back in, try to clean that up a little bit, and maybe even add some more stuff, fill in these areas. But until then, there's not much point in trying to sort it out, just because you might just do yourself more harm than good, honestly. But I had a blast doing the Bahir nest, Gotta get into the back of the throat, I think. Something, I don't know.
Right.
Had a blast for you, Justin. John, too, thanks for joining us. And until next time. Oh, if you want to see me paint him on some kind of stream of some sort, maybe a like and subscribe would go a long way towards that goal. Something.
Damn.
All right. You guys all have a wonderful night or day or whatever, and keep hobbying it up.